Hello, team, and welcome. Here in Brazil, we have a short week. It is Independence Day. For any Americans out there, no, the whole world does not celebrate Independence Day on July 4th. But we are going to be seeing one important topic, specifically for my Brazilian students. I don't know about other languages, but we will see something that it's a common mistake that my students make. So we will be taking a look at that, and we will be taking a little trip down history lane and making sure that you know your history, or your patriotic history of this fine country of ours. So, team, we are going to be starting with this painting. Remember it. We will be coming back to it. I heard some interesting stories about this painting. I don't know how true. I was not there, but here we go. This is the word I would like to talk about. This tiny little word. And there are two things that I would like to discuss. A, why it's easily mistaken. And B, how we can turn it into some great, cheap English practice. And the first thing I would like to do is ask any Brazilian students out there, or no, sorry, ask all of you students out there. How would I say that? Describe this. The fact. I can't give you the answer in English. I'm gonna have to say it in Portuguese. So tell me, tem táxi atrás de mim. I try to avoid using Portuguese in these videos, but there was no way around this. A one, a two, a three. Many of my Brazilian students, they will say have a taxi behind me. Ter means have. But in English, we cannot really start a sentence with have unless you're doing one of two things. Less commonly, if you are using the imperative, have more water, have another cookie. Or more commonly, if you are asking a question about if something has happened. Have you watched Ted Lasso? Have you been to China? Have you played dodgeball before? Have you scuba dived? So when you start a question with have, you want to know if this has happened. And you really can't use have to describe things the same way we do with Portuguese. You need to use there. And the trick is to pair there, right, to pair there with, no, I can't rhyme it again. To pair there with to be. And there, it's going to be universal. There is in the present, there was in the past, there will be in the future, there have been undefined past. But the there will always start this description. And why can this be excellent English practice? So I'm sitting around, I'm looking around my room. There is a taxi behind me. There are scissors in this cup. Yes, scissors are always plural. There are pens in this cup. There is a dartboard on my door. There was a plant in my window. It is not there now. But it is a way to test the limits of your vocabulary. My recommendation, when you don't really have anything specific to do, look around you and try to describe until you find something that you do not know how to say in English. Right there, you have found your vocab word. You have studied in one of the best ways possible, using this little word right there, there. So, a quick review. In the present, we're going to have there is or there are. There is no there am because we're always talking in the third person. It's almost as if we're observing the world, like the world has put this there. So there is singular, there are plural. In the past, we're going to have was or were. In the future, there will be no variations. In the past, there has been a mistake. There have been many great movies this year. And we can use there had been before a specific point in time. So to practice this, we have these three little questions. Number one, look at figure one and describe what you see. Now, there are a bunch of men on horses. There are clouds in the sky. I'll let you keep going. Practice the past. Describe a place you went this weekend. I went to Lagoa Santa, and there are lots of capybaras around the lake. There is even, and we're using the past. There wasn't an alligator there. There is normally an alligator, Mr. Alfredo, but he wasn't there. and describe Brazil in 20 years. I will let you do that one. So there will be flying cars. There will be. Continue, please. Next up. Oh, I think I skipped an exercise. No, that's it. But guys, we have some questions related to history. And why is that? I am not a historian, and I did not like history class in school. But as an adult, I have found that history, when it is told well, is quite interesting. And now I kind of wish I had paid more attention. And you do not need to know every single story. You do not need to know the exact dates. But imagine this situation. You are studying English, probably to speak in English. And for speaking English, it's probably with somebody who is not from your country. So you might want to be able to share a story about Brazilian history in our case. So that is my challenge for you, to prepare one story out of history you can tell. And let's take a look at some of these questions. What do you know about pre-colonial Brazil? This is fascinating to me because before the colonization period, we don't really have much written records of the Americas. And I would love to know more. I do know that this is the oldest remains of a human in the Americas. Actually, about an hour away from where I'm shooting this video. Her name was Luzia, and she was found in the Pedro Leopoldo area. And I think there was a settlement in Lagoa Santa where I go on the weekends. It's one of the oldest settlements to be found in the Americas over 10,000 years ago. So I think that's a pretty cool story. But I would love to learn more. If you have any cool stories about pre-colonial America, I would love to hear it. And let me see if there are any other good ones. What is freedom? I want to take this one too because I asked my students this, and I need to remember who answered this because I will try to find out who said this because I love this answer. And freedom was being able to do what you don't want to get a better result later. And I really do think this is a fascinating type of freedom. I don't think it's the only answer. I heard many answers this week, but I loved this interpretation of freedom. It's about, studying, working hard, saving money, whatever it is that you don't want to do now, so that you have that freedom later to do whatever it is that you want. So I really like that definition. Next up, this is what I was mentioning. I want you to prepare a story to tell a gringo visiting us here in Brazil. It can be anything that you enjoy telling. That's I think the secret to history is enjoying the storytelling process. And amazing song, one of my favorites. Click on this link to hear some animals. I don't think they're the original singers of the song. That's the most famous version. All right, team. Thank you very much, like always, and I hope to see you in class.